In 2015, ISIS fighters put a Jordanian pilot into a steel cage, doused him in petrol, and set fire to him. They captured this horrific scene on video as they laughed and cheered. This lasted a few minutes until death brought an end to his unimaginable suffering. Such a scene is not something any decent human being could take pleasure in. Yet the Quran tells us that the believers in paradise will not only watch the unbelievers being burnt alive, but they will laugh. It will be amongst the joys of paradise. Believers will be provided with front row seats, couches, on which to relax and enjoy the sight of unbelievers being repeatedly burnt alive. Not for a few minutes like this poor man, but kept alive and prevented from dying, so their agony never ends. Today the believers will be laughing at the unbelievers, watching while reclining on raised couches. I recently pointed out the obscene nature of this verse in a post. A Muslim responded by accusing me of twisting the truth and malicious deception, because I had not quoted the whole context. If there's one thing you can be certain of when critiquing Islam, it is that somebody will inevitably accuse you of dishonesty, deceit, and taking the verse out of context. The verse is part of a passage that juxtaposes unbelievers mocking believers with believers mocking the inhabitants of hell. But does that improve matters at all? I will let you decide. Here's the whole passage. Indeed, the sinners used to laugh at those who believed, and when they passed them by, they would wink at each other mockingly, and when they returned to their own people, they would return exultantly, and whenever they saw them, they would say, "Behold, these are the people truly astray," but they had not been sent as guardians over them. So today the believers will be laughing at the unbelievers, watching while reclining on raised couches. Have not the disbelievers been paid back for what they used to do? Of course, nobody likes being laughed at for their beliefs. But how can that possibly be compared to laughing at the sight of a human being burnt alive eternally? What sort of a person would find joy in blisters oozing pus and screams of agony, let alone the supposedly morally superior inhabitants of paradise? Are they not the blessed company who represents the best and highest moral virtues? Have they not achieved a state of complete peace and serenity, cured of all bitterness, resentment, and malice? Or have they taken such feelings of hatred and enmity with them into paradise? Have they simply transferred all the pain and grudges they bore on earth over to gardens under which rivers flow? To make matters worse, they will see close friends and family being tortured. They will hear them begging for help, pleading for water. But the people of paradise will show no pity. I had a close friend on earth who used to say, "What? Art thou amongst those who bear witness to the truth of the message? When we die and become dust and bones, shall we indeed receive rewards and punishments?" A voice said, "Would you like to look down?" He looked down and saw him in the midst of the fire. The dwellers of paradise will call out to the dwellers of hell, "We have found what our Lord has promised us is true. Have you found what your Lord has promised you is true?" They will say, "Yes, we have." The dwellers of hell will call out to the dwellers of paradise, "Throw down some water to us, or some of what Allah has provided you with." They will say, "God has forbidden them to the disbelievers." Tell me honestly, if you saw your mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, colleague at work, or neighbour being tortured in hell, would you gloat and laugh at the flames peeling off their skin from their bones as they cry out to you? If your answer is, "No, I wouldn't laugh," then is the Quran wrong? Or isn't that the real you in heaven? Have you been transformed into a different person than you are here on earth? The Quran says, "We will remove all malice from their hearts." What does that mean when you laugh at the torture of others? When you feel no pity towards family or close friends? Have certain emotions been removed so you won't flinch but stare blankly and unemotionally? Or worse than that, so that you find it pleasurable? Will Muhammad laugh at his uncle Abu Talib, who protected and tirelessly defended his nephew for years but refused to renounce the religion of his forefathers? Will Muhammad, the mercy to the worlds, refuse him a drop of water? After a few billion years of pleasure in paradise, will you not pause, even for a fleeting moment, to pity those suffering endless torture? Apart from the sickening display of delight and shocking lack of compassion presented in this verse, wouldn't carrying such vindictive hatred, at the very least, diminish your peace of mind? Does the eternal evil of unreconciled souls tortured in hell represent a failure of some sort? Or did God want evil to remain eternally within sight of paradise? The Tafsir of At-Tabari quotes Ibn Abbas regarding this verse: "The wall between paradise and hell will be opened for them. In it are doors so believers can watch the people of hell. The believers will be reclining on elevated seats, watching the ways they are tortured, and will laugh at them, because this is amongst that which Allah will gladden their eyes with, how Allah takes revenge on them." Seriously? The sight of flesh burning will gladden their eyes? The sight of skulls exploding and eyes spitting blood will send them into rapturous laughter? Reclining on raised couches so they can get a better look? Are such people the pinnacle of virtue and moral excellence? The ultimate objective of God's wise plan? Is this really why God created the universe?